This short video is going to show you how to use BoardMaker Plus software. It was made for people who have never used the software before. So for those of you who have never used it, BoardMaker Plus software allows you to bring BoardMaker activities to life and make your computer an interactive student learning and speaking tool. It features the ability to talk, play recordings, move between boards, and interact with buttons on the screen. It allows you to create interactive books, worksheets, schedules, basic information, learning games, and a lot more. So let's see what happens when you open an empty board. This is what you're going to get. Here's your board, and here are your tools. So let's look at those tools. Here you have the symbol finder tool. This tool allows you to find symbols. So for example, mountains. If I want to find an apple, I will type apple. Well, I got applesauce. I don't want applesauce. I just want an apple. So I will click this blue triangle here to see all the options. So I have applesauce, apple juice, pineapple juice, apple, and I pick the symbol that I like. And I close it here. Here you have the pointer tool, and you will be using this tool a lot. Button tool allows you to create buttons. Freeform button tools allows you to create buttons of different shapes. Button sprayer tool allows you to spray buttons. You can make lines here. You click this button here to type words. You click this button here if you want words together with symbols. You change colors here. Thickness tool, corner tool, you can change how your buttons look over here. You have a shadow tool, zoom in, zoom out, and movable button tool. This tool allows you to create movable buttons. All right, let's start with a very basic question that I want my students to be able to answer. I'm going to use this tool here because I want words together with symbols. So I'm going to click on it and I'm going to spread this rectangle, which by the way, you cannot really see once you finish typing. It's just for you to highlight where you are typing. So let me type a very basic question. When I go to the beach, I can see, and my students need to pick the correct answer. I'm going to give my students two answers, one correct and one incorrect. And I want to create buttons. So I will go to the button tool. I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to create a button. There you go. Well, obviously, I want two answers, not just one, so I need two buttons. So I can go to the button tool again and create another button, but chances are this button here is going to be a little bigger or smaller than this one. And I want them to be exactly the same. So I can use button sprayer tool. I'm going to click on it. I'm going to click on the button again. And I'm going to spread. And this is what I get. Now I have two buttons. I'm going to spread them out a little bit because they're too close. There you go. Perfect. Okay, so let me create the first answer. I can just type the answer, but for my students, I would like to use symbols. So I'm going to go to the symbol finder tool. I'm going to click on it. And let me find, ocean. Obviously, this is going to be the correct answer. I'm going to drag this little guy here and click. And there's my answer, ocean. Now over here, I want to give my students an incorrect answer. So how about mountains? There you go. Perfect. Now I can edit this a little bit more. So I am going to start with the question itself. Looks like these words are too big. They're really large. So I'm going to right click and I'm going to change the font. Let's make it 24. I can make these symbols smaller too. I will right click and I will go to symbol size make smaller. Maybe a little bit more. Let's see. Perfect. I have my questions. I can style these buttons as well. I want both buttons to look the same, so I'm going to highlight both of them. Oops. There you go. And let me change the thickness. Let's make these borders really thick. And how about I change the color as well? Let's make it maybe red. There you go. So now you have a very basic board. So you can print it out. Your students can point to the correct answer. They can circle the correct answer. But there is a way of making this board interactive so that your students can use it on the computer or a smart board to make it like a fun interactive activity. So what you need to do is you want this question here and these answers to be read to your students when they touch them. So let's start with the question. I am going to double click and I have all these options here to make this board interactive. For the purpose of this video, we are just going to use Speak Message tool. I'm going to click on it. And basically, I just want my students to touch the question and I want the question to be read to them. So let's just use this Use Button Text tool. Let's test it out.
When I go to the beach, I can see.
Yep, there you go. Okay, I like it. There you go. So let's do the same with the buttons. I'm going to double click. I'm going to speak the message. Now, I can just use this Use Button Text tool, and that's going to be okay when my students touch the button. They are going to hear ocean. But I want to give my students some feedback. So I'm going to type, great job. This is the correct answer. Let me test it out.
Great job. This is the correct answer.
Oops. All right, there you go. Now I'm going to do the same thing with the other answer. Double click, speak message, and again I want to give my students some feedback. So obviously this is not the correct answer. So I can say, let me test it out.
This is not the correct answer. Try again.
Okay. There you go. So now I made an interactive board. Now, this board is not interactive right now. You need to make it interactive. You need to go to Dynamic Boards and you have to click Use. There you go. You actually cannot see the question here because of the size of the screen, but trust me, the question is still there, and let's test out the answers. So when my students touch this, they are going to hear,
great job. This is the correct answer.
When they touch this button, they will hear,
this is not the correct answer. Try again.
Perfect. It works. So this is just a very basic board, obviously, with just one question and two answers. There is a lot more that you can do with BoardMaker Plus. And we are going to learn more in our next video, where we'll make more buttons and we will add more questions. So I hope you learned a little bit about BoardMaker Plus today, and I hope you will have a lot of fun, you together with your students, using it in your classroom.